What do you do when you have 3 homebrews and, they're pretty good and you want to do reviews, but they're all really small, simple games? I guess that means a triple episode. Welcome to Mike's Gaming Gala. I'm Mike, and today we've got not one, not two, but 3 puzzle games for the Game Boy and Game Boy Color by Ferrante Crafts. I got my copies from Good Deal Games. Each of these games individually wouldn't really warrant a video on their own, so I thought this week we could look at each one by one. All of these come in the usual Ferrante Crafts packaging, so I won't go through each of them, but it's professionally printed box with a manual, plastic insert, new cartridge, and travel case. Let's look at probably the least exciting one first, GB Wordle, which is a Game Boy Color game. Following the splash screens, you get this crossword-style menu. No options here, just pressing start takes you right into the game, where you'll be informed of how to play, and you're off. For the 2 people left on the planet who aren't familiar with Wordle, the goal is to guess the 5-letter word within 6 tries, where you guess 5-letter words to get the clues as to what the letters are and where they belong. It's basically the game Mastermind, but with words instead of colors. The playfield is separated into 2 sections. At the bottom is the alphabet and your cursor, which you'll use to select your letters. At the top is 6 rows of 5 squares each, where you'll make your guesses. When you guess a word, the letters at the bottom will color red for the letter not being correct, yellow for the letter being in the word but not in the correct position, and green for the letter being correct and in the right position. At the top, you'll get the same indicators, minus the red letters. There are several strategies that people use in Wordle, but I find the most consistent is to have 2 or 3 words that will eliminate as many individual letters as possible. From there, use the last few rows to make guesses based on what you've revealed so far. Knowing what letters aren't in the word can often be just as useful information as what's in there. Win or lose, each round ends with a stat screen telling you how many games you've played, your win streak, wins and losses, and the amount of guesses required to complete puzzles over your gameplay. Keep playing without end until you've had enough Wordle. And that's game number 1, GB Wordle for the Game Boy Color. Exactly what one would expect it to be. If you like Wordle and always wished you could play it on tech from 25 years ago, this is the game for you. Honestly, the only real advantage this has over other versions is the lack of ads. Solid port though. Next, let's look at the next puzzle game in line, Illuminated for the Game Boy. After the splash screen, you're greeted with a title menu with the option to play, enter a code, or create. We'll start with play. Select your level and press start to get going. Illuminated is a simple tile flipping game, the goal in every stage being to make all the tiles white. You move your cursor around and wherever you click, the tiles will flip in a cross pattern emanating from your position. The first few levels are pretty easy and the music is nice and relaxing. But if you're anything like me, there's no amount of calming music that could prevent me from getting frustrated really quickly as the difficulty ramps up. Frankly, as simple as the concept of these type of games are, I really suck at them. So if you want to make some feel-good levels for yourself and your friends, that's where the create and enter code we saw on the title screen comes in. Clicking create brings you to a blank playfield. Clicking anywhere will flip the tiles as they normally do in a game, but here you're creating a level. Click away until you're happy with what you've made, and you'll see at the bottom of the screen there will be a code. Entering this code into the Enter Code selection in the menu will allow you to then play that level. If you have other friends with Illuminated, you can make levels for each other and trade codes. And there we have game number 2, Illuminated for the Game Boy. It's a simple puzzle game, and if you're the type of person who likes these tile flipping games, it's a very competent one. The addition of the Create mode was a nice touch, and it's a great way to add creativity to the game. Illuminated gets a good grade, but honestly, it was probably my least favorite of the 3 we're looking at today. Next though, let's take a look at my favorite, Flutter on the Game Boy Color. No splash screen here. Starting the cartridge gets you right into the title screen, and Flutter doesn't waste your time with anything other than the essentials. Press Start to play. Pressing Start gets you into it, and you'll see a mosaic of colors on your screen. The goal here is to get this mess of colors to all be the same color, working from the top left outwards. On the left of the screen, you'll see a column of colors with a cursor. The top of this column has a rectangle that shows you what color you currently have selected. So, how this works. You start controlling the color in the top left square, and all you can do to control anything here is change the color. Picking a color from the column on the left changes the color of your block and merges it with any other blocks of the same color that it's touching. This, of course, expands your block, where now you change it to another color, and so on until hopefully you make the entire playfield the same color. There's only one catch. As you can see at the top of the screen, you have a limited number of moves in which to accomplish this. It's more difficult than it looks, but not in a bad way. It really keeps you coming back for another game. It's a painfully simple concept, but damn, it's addictive. And that's Flutter for the Game Boy Color. What did I think? I really love this one. The first time I played it, I was on a business trip and not recording, but I played it on the plane. It kept me occupied for almost 2 hours of the flight. For my money, this was easily my favorite. When it comes to puzzle games, simple is often the best. All 3 of these games today fall into that category, and all 3 I thought were executed well and fun. If I was to rank them, Flutter is number 1, GB Wordle number 2, and Illuminated number 3. And this marks my last review of 2023. Tune in next week though, as I'll be counting down my top 10 favorite homebrews of the year that I've reviewed here on this channel. What games will be on that list? You'll have to watch to find out. Thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you liked it. I hope you liked the channel. This is our first year that's coming to a close. As always, I've got my contact info on the screen, and we'll see you next time on Mike's Gaming Gala.